Hi everyone, and welcome to Paper and Light, the YouTube channel about movie posters. We've got a real classic today, a sheer work of art, and if you watch till the end of the video, you'll get all the details about my major giveaway, so strap in. Imagine a time at the movies when your choices weren't dominated by comic book films. Light-hearted comedies could still rule the box office, and James Cameron wasn't just interested in the Na'vi. The early 90s were a time of shifting trends and new technology coming into play on screen. And comic book films still weren't a sure bet. Tim Burton's Batman had made a big impact, but the more obscure comic book characters were still a bit of a gamble to adapt. And sadly, nothing proved that more than The Rocketeer.
It's a rocket. A rocket!
The Rocketeer.
Go get him, kid.
Just who is the Rocketeer? Well, the character and the story all began in the imagination of artist Dave Stevens.
The Rocketeer is a 1991 film adaptation of the comic book series of the same name by author Dave Stevens. My poster for this film is a double-sided US 1 sheet, measuring the standard 27 inches by 40 inches. And I purchased it from emovieposter.com back in 2013 for $42 US. And as you can see, that was a small price to pay for this total work of art. Current auctions for this poster can run as high as $300 US. For his comic book, Dave Stevens took major inspiration from old film serials in the 1950s. The Rocketeer bears a pretty strong resemblance to Commando Cody, and Stevens based his hero's love interest Betty on pinup model and actress Betty Page. The original graphic novel is pretty spicy, so when Disney bought the film rights, all the more adult-oriented aspects of the project were removed. They apparently bought the film rights to the property because they felt like the character of the Rocketeer was extremely toyetic, and yes, that is a real term. The film was directed by Joe Johnston, fresh off the massive success of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
And action. Director Joe Johnston knows how to surprise us.
The most important thing about that for me was that you really believe that this thing is pushing this guy through the air.
A number of huge names auditioned for the lead role of the Rocketeer, including Kurt Russell,
When I get back, I'm gonna kill you.
Johnny Depp, and Bill Paxton.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
But they were all beat out by then unknown actor Billy Campbell.
Prepare yourself for a shock. I'm the Rocketeer.
The Rock of who?
Jennifer Connelly was cast in the role of Jenny, and I mean, she's one of the most beautiful people to ever appear on screen. They're both super hot. Look at these two. It's no wonder they started a 5-year relationship while making this movie. God damn. Thankfully, Jenny isn't just your standard damsel in distress. She's actually kind of a badass. Whoa, she just killed a man. He was a Nazi. Then current James Bond Timothy Dalton plays the nefarious actor-turned-spy Neville Sinclair. He turns in this devilish performance. I always thought that his James Bond was way too serious, and he's obviously having a lot of fun with this character. Lothar, the oversized henchman, was made up to look like Rondo Hatton, a character actor from the 1940s who appeared in a number of low-budget horror movies. The actor who plays Lothar, Ron Taylor, can be seen out of makeup here. I've talked about films that feel crafted, and The Rocketeer feels handcrafted, because it was. To achieve some of the more complicated effect shots involving the Rocketeer flying through the air, they created a large puppet that they would manipulate frame by frame. The effect is remarkable and brings an animated energy to a lot of these shots. Graphic novel creator Dave Stevens was a producer on the film and was heavily involved with set design, art direction, and the overall aesthetic of the movie. Certain scenes are taken directly from his comic book pages. From the Hollywoodland sign to the Spruce Goose to Nazis in Los Angeles, all of these historical notes add a layer of credibility to this adventure story. It feels more real, like it could have happened. One of my favorite locations in the film is the South Seas Club, a nightclub that features a lead singer that had a very familiar voice to me.
When you're alone, there was in his eyes, stealing kisses from me on the slide, taking time to make time telling me that he's all mine.
Another one of my favorite locations is Neville Sinclair's house, which is the historic Ennis House in Los Angeles, designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. It's been used in countless movies and TV shows, but probably best remembered as Deckard's apartment in Blade Runner.
We're at a point now where individual flight without a plane becomes more of a reality every day. But that day's not here yet, unless you're the Rocketeer.
Sadly, The Rocketeer was the right film at the wrong time. It only grossed $46 million on a $35 million budget, making it a financial failure. All plans for a sequel were canceled, and Disney's toyetic dreams were dashed.
That was amazing.
Take it for a test spin.
No, I don't think so. No, not till the sequel.
Critics were kinder, and the film found new life on home video and has developed a bit of a cult following, especially from yours truly. I love the style of this movie. I wish it was a real place that I could go inhabit. And the handcrafted look and feel of these effect shots still gets me really excited in a way that modern digital filmmaking just doesn't. Joe Johnston's work on this film is what got him the gig directing Captain America: The First Avenger. The two have a lot of aesthetic similarities, and they make a fantastic double feature, both on Disney+. Sadly not a sponsor. The teaser poster and main US one-sheet for the film were both created by illustrator John Mattis, who specializes in vintage Art Deco-inspired designs. This is rumored to also be an unused design, and all of these are highly reminiscent of a Moscow monument to cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin, the first man in space. The 1927 silent film Metropolis also appears to be a major influence. This poster is an incredible achievement, a real work of art, so it's all the more unfortunate that Disney advertising executives lost confidence in the poster and had new ones drafted during the Rocketeer's theatrical run, which was a super rare thing at the time. A much more bland, standard floating head poster was created, which featured either a dashingly heroic Billy Campbell or a slightly confused, somewhat smirking Billy Campbell. I kinda get why they would do this. The original poster didn't feature any of the cast members, and The Rocketeer wasn't a big financial hit, so they were probably scrambling to try anything at that point. I think they can be forgiven, but these new posters pale in comparison to the original. These days, they often put out dozens of movie poster designs for the same movie, but back in the 90s, it was typically one and done. So, which design did they use for all of the physical media releases? Let's see what I was able to find. So first up we have the VHS tape, and as you can see, they went with that new poster design. Can't say that I'm really surprised that they would go with that. Love that font so much, super iconic, I would say. Okay, the next item is Rocketeer on Laserdisc. This is the first Laserdisc I've been able to feature on the channel. I don't love this image, as I've sort of explained, but I am still really pumped to have this. I think that this is beautiful. I think this composition maybe even works a little bit better in this sort of square format as opposed to the poster size. It's huge! Absolutely massive. These things were super expensive back in the day, so if you had laser discs, you were certainly high class. I didn't have a Laserdisc player when I was younger. I only recently bought one, so it'll be fun to try this out. So next up we have the DVD, and I went a little further afield here to show you what it can look like in different markets. This is the UK Region 2 DVD for The Rocketeer. I think it's okay, but the typography is not nearly as great as the original Rocketeer typography. Pretty bare bones, nothing special. And the most recent physical release of this movie is the Blu-ray, the 20th anniversary edition. Though it's not much of an anniversary edition because it even says right on the back, it only has the one disc and it just has the feature film and the trailer. That's it. Pretty bare bones. I still like having physical media for the artwork, and in this case, it's the same artwork as everything else, right? This is what the US DVD looked like, and this is what the Blu-ray looks like. No French on the spine though, so that's nice. Next up, we've got the soundtrack on CD, and they used the one-sheet poster, and it looks great. Look at how much cooler that is versus the Blu-ray. I mean, they should have gone with this for everything, as you know. Okay, next we've got the Rocketeer Read-Along Disney book, which came with this cassette tape. Pretty cool. Take Off with the Rocketeer.
Take off, you never did.
I do.
Huh.
Jenny follows Cliff into a secluded section of the club where he pulls the rocket pack from a duffel bag.
This is the gizmo I was telling you about.
So I just noticed when I was going through this media, on the back of the VHS, the DVD, Blu-ray, and this Laserdisc, they all used this same photo of Jenny and Cliff on the Zeppelin. And as you can see, it's cropped at a certain point. But for this children's book, they went with a full frame different photo. Fascinating that they chose this one. And finally, we've got the Rocketeer novelization. They went with the one sheet, and damn, I think this looks awesome. I remember seeing this at the library as a kid in my elementary school. They also did a Scholastic Young Readers edition with the same cover. It's weird, it cuts off the, so it just says Rocketeer. Who is the Rocketeer? And why are the FBI, a gang of thugs, and the Nazis all after him? Ooh, find out in this book. When I was flipping through this, I noticed they had these great color photographs in the middle. This was always one of my favorite parts of reading these books as a kid. And in the last photo, they have this shot where the boom mic is very, very visible. The Rocketeer, man. The Rocketeer. So what do I think of this poster? What's the art score? A is for aesthetics. How good is the design? How pleasing is the typography, the overall visuals, and the vibe of the poster? Basically, is it nice to look at? This poster feels like it's moving, like there's a kinetic force within it that's about to explode out of my lightbox and fly around my apartment. I feel like I can hear the swells of James Horner's score when I look at this. The typography is time period perfection, and the overall design evokes all sorts of art styles, from Nouveau to Art Deco to Soviet-era propaganda. The Rocketeer bravely looks upward, flying into the unknown. If there was a church of cinema, this would have to be one of the stained glass windows. For aesthetics, an easy, breezy 3 out of 3. R is for representation. Does it represent the film very well? Does it match the look and feel of the ideas it's presenting? Is there a sense of story? Okay, I love this film, but I feel like this poster exceeds it. Through the poster, we get a glimpse into the stylized period details of this adventure story. While the poster elevates the central theme of the Rocketeer as a hero, the artwork is elegant, refined, inspired. You could make the argument that it doesn't represent the film very well because it was superseded by a different design, but I don't agree. I think this represents the ideals of the film, what the film wants to be, and what the filmmakers wanted to achieve, even if they arguably fell short. For representation, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 3 because it represents something great. T is for titillation. Does this poster inspire any excitement or intrigue? Does it make us want to go watch the movie? Yes, for titillation, it's a 3 out of 3. So, with a current score of 9 out of 10, this poster is flying high. But what about that final point? What did my wife think? Well, there you have it! Our first 10 out of 10! Woo! Yeah! Oh, yeah. Absolutely 100% deserved. This is a well-cherished poster in my collection. I put it up fairly frequently, and every time I do, people go, "Oh, what a beautiful poster. What's that movie?" It's flown under the radar for a long time, but a small, devoted fan base has risen up, and I would encourage you to give it a shot if you're looking for something old-fashioned, lighthearted, and fun. Good art makes you feel, and this poster makes me feel youthful. I was 9 years old when this movie came out, basically the perfect age for it. But as I got older, I started to appreciate all of the details within this movie, and within this poster. As a 9-year-old, I thought it was cool. Now, I recognize it for the work of art that it is. I don't love this phrase, but it does need to be said. They really don't make them like this anymore.
See you around, Rocketeer.
I believe any great collection needs to be shared. So in that spirit, I'm gonna be giving away this poster. If you'd like some info on how you can win this, all you need to do is check out my Patreon page, the link to which will be in the description box below. We do major giveaways with each episode of Paper and Light, and we ship worldwide. So check out my Patreon. I really appreciate the support, which goes towards finding even more interesting movie posters to show you in the future. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you've enjoyed this Rocketeer deep dive, consider subscribing, maybe clicking that like button. I have a lot more content to show you. You can even leave a comment about how this poster is amazing or terrible, or you love this movie, or you think this movie is not great, or you just have a real deep appreciation for bald Canadians. Cheers, everyone. I'll see you at the movies.
teach me was the son of a preacher man.